Positive Podcast for July the 13th, which is a Monday. Hope you guys enjoyed that band. That is As We Are. That band is from Mount Vernon, Illinois. And I really like their stuff. I guess they got their album produced by Kevin Gates, from who did Never Shout Never, The Ready Set, Romance on a Rocket Ship, and Go Radio. They should be having a new album that's coming out soon. You guys can go on their Facebook page, which is As We Are Rocks. So we've got a challenging topic today, which is sex workers. And it's a very challenging topic for the church because in society at large, showing compassion is difficult when you don't share that experience. So it's always very easy to look at somebody, and even the cop or the pizza guy or your Olive Garden server, and so he doesn't bring you your drink, and you get all mad at the guy. You don't really know what's going on. Maybe the guy's weeping his eyes out because he just got divorced, or he's having a shitty day. You never really know what's going on with a person, and so it's easy to not emphasize with someone who's a sex worker. Sex work is just like any other occupation. It's the oldest occupation in the history of the world, and it will always be there. The difference is how safe can it be? So I was reading one of Kathy Reisenwitz's posts on Kink and Code, and she was talking about the differences of sex work and how in America still it's one of the only Western countries that still has banned sex work and allows a space for the black market to fill that, which causes harm and detriment to the people who work in that sector of employment. And comparatively to Australia. So Australia, it's 100% legal to be a sex worker. It's safe for the people that do it, where they get drug tests, they get blood tests to find if they have any STDs, and it's also out in the open. So you go on a website, and this is just one of the websites, scarletblue.com.au, and you can check out the different people that you would want to have a sexual connection with. And it's completely counter to the way America sees sex work. Now, this already exists in America. A lot of the sex workers already have their own websites and things like that, and it's becoming more mainstream. But it's not to the extent of where, Australia has completely gotten the violence out of it and brought in the light and an opening for the people to come out of the shadows, and if that's their occupation. What I find very interesting is where, as a voluntarist, as someone who likes voluntary interaction no matter what I do. So, voluntarism really kind of guides the way you interact within life. So, I find it really interesting that on the Scarlet Blue website, for the girls that are on there, they put exactly what they will and won't do, what they want. If they wish to go somewhere or not go somewhere, if they want you to drive to them, or where do you meet? It's all specified out, and it kind of, in my mind, kind of shows a way that, like, even with dating websites right now, this needs to be more clarified within the culture. So even on, say, something like Tinder or Plenty of Fish or Christian Mingle or Satanists Mingle or whatever it would be, it should be spelled out. I'm looking for this type of person. I want to do these type of things, and I'm only going to be in this specific area, and I won't go to this area. Or, I only want to date this gender, or I'm open to all genders. And that's where the culture needs to learn and evaluate what they're doing, because we obviously know that um, the model from, say, like the Old Testament, or evolution times, say, 10,000 years ago, everybody lived in bands of groups of people, and everybody, migrated from one place to place, and then people's groups would intermingle, and then they would say, well, hey, you're 13 years old, we have to carry on the species, so you're going to marry this kid, and then at 14, you'll have babies or something like that, which was normal in that society. We don't live that way anymore. And we have to evaluate what our ideas are and what the future is for voluntary relationships. And that only can be done by being open and a more clear and open society within, sex positivism, and just the need to share in a way that is voluntary and not violent filled. A girl on Facebook, I thought it was really interesting. She was talking about how she's like 18 or 19 and was really angry about a guy that she's dating who didn't want to have sex with her because he was just destroyed and really tired and didn't want to do anything anymore, and they hadn't had sexual contact in like a month. And I directly told that person, like, well, it's not necessarily the sex part. You really need to define what your relationship is. And, I said straight up, you need to be able to turn off all the electronics, get off of work, dump the kids off where you ever have to dump them off at, and take even a day or 3 days, separate yourself out, and just determine and refine what that relationship is to be. Because if you don't define the terms, you're just going to get mad at people. It's just like people within politics getting mad at each other. Oh, I'm a Republican. Oh, I'm a Democrat. No, I'm angry at you. Well, you didn't define the terms. Those terms don't really mean anything anymore because the two-party system is essentially one. I mean, there's not really a difference between one warmonger and the other warmonger. So, within sexuality and relationships and human contact, we really have to define the terms of what we're willing and what we're not willing to do. I see a need there where somebody needs to actually make a dating application that is more open that way and gets it within the culture to where it's just something normal in a way that Tinder is, but Tinder doesn't really meet the needs for most people due to demographic problems. Some guy was talking about how, he was really angry with Tinder the other day. And I was talking to him, and I'm like, well, it's not really the problem is Tinder. The problem is the demographics. So it depends on where you live. If you live in an area which men dominate the area, whereas in a place, I lived in Ohio for a while, and there's a city in Ohio that the per capita, there's like 3 women to 1 man. So it's really, really easy for men to meet women. And vice versa, because there's all kinds of guys that flock to that college, so it kind of equals itself out. Whereas in places around the country where the demographic is just completely slewed, where there's 7 men per 1 woman, and it just doesn't make any sense. And my friends, when they go over to like Romania, Russia, or Ukraine, are just completely flabbergasted at the amount of women there are per men, and it's great for them. And that's it. A lot of people look down on guys going to find women in other countries, but there's a reason for that. It's a demographic problem. But there's also a need for people to make dating applications which can solve that problem. Defining demographics and kind of pinpointing what people are looking for in a more free and open environment, due to the fact that the culture really is kind of still against dating applications in a way, and it kind of causes a problem when it comes to meeting people. Sex Positive Podcast, a story. When I was 18 years old, I remember going to one of my first concerts, and it was actually Dashboard Confessional. I totally forgot about it. I'm a big time into emo and rock from that era. I was watching a video from Chris Carrabba and his stories, and I had remember seeing him at like maybe, I think he was probably like 17 or 18 years old. He could have been a little older. I'm kind of skewed because he's 40 right now, so the age thing's kind of weird. And we went to this, I think it was the Pipeline Cafe, and it was completely packed. There was over 4,000 or 5,000 people there, just completely stuffed to the tops of as many people as I could fit into that one building. And my friend JJ, as I'll call her, she dragged me to the show. I didn't really want to be there. I was just there, and I was really into Hawaiian music, and that's when I found passion for music and for emo, and that ended up getting me into Further Seems Forever. Then that got me into the Get Up Kids and Reggie and the Full Effect and Sensefield and kind of all those bands that are all kind of connected in this interesting way that sound nothing alike but are all emo bands. And that's where my kind of love affair got me with that music. And that's all from Chris Carrabba. Hell, he's been in 6 bands so far already. And it really doesn't matter what he puts out. It's good and awesome. I mean, people still want the guy to tour, and he's 40 years old right now, and still on the road doing his thing. So that's a story of mine. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Please check out As We Are. I'll link them in the show notes. They may be coming to your area if they go on tour. And please support them in their new endeavors. Thank you guys so much. Sex Positive Podcast.